Please take your seats, everyone. The observance is about to start. The guests are here. Please give them a big hand. Okay.
Yes, I'll bring the bag. So all of it. I'll get it. Give me 2 minutes. Okay. No problem.
I'd call the guests and I'd request them to mount the podium. Our first guest, our guest of honor, is Dr. Prakasrao Velagapudi. Our second guest, Srimati Kajal Shingala. Our third guest, Srimati Shefali Vaidya. And our next guest, Shri Sushil Pandit ji. Along with them on the podium is the president of HMSA, Dr. Rudranath Talukdar. We'd like to start this event by quoting immortal lines from Swatantri Savarkar. And I dedicate these lines to the spirit of Hindus, Hinduism, and all of us. May our religion live for 1,000 years to come. The lines are Anadimi, Anantami, Avadhyami Bhala, Maril Ripu Jagati Asa Kavana Janmala, which when translated mean, I am without a beginning or an end, and my vanquisher is yet to be born. Ladies and gentlemen, I would please request Mrs. Reena Narang to come on stage and sing Vande Mataram.
Please stand.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Sujalam Sufalam, Malayaj Sheetalam, Shasya Shamalam Mataram, Vande Mataram, Shubhra Josnam Pulakitayamini, Fulla Kusumita Drumadala Shobhini, Suhasini, Sumadhura Bhashini, Sukhdam Varadam Mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. So, pranam everyone. Welcome to the annual Hindu Memorial Day event being celebrated for the first time in Dallas. On behalf of the whole HMSA team, I extend you a very warm welcome. We've held this event for the past years in Houston, and we've been very successful about raising awareness about this event in there. So now, this past week has been a bit of terrible experience for Hindus. Two of our finest sons have passed away. V.S. Naipaul, the voice of a wounded civilization, and Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, who was one of the few men who dared to swim against the tide. And also he wore his pride on his sleeves unapologetically. Before beginning, I'd like to say that there is a big inundation of floods in Kerala. So we appeal everyone here to extend any help they can. Today, Hindu Memorial Day, we are celebrating, or observing rather, for all the lost and fallen who didn't have a chance at their freedom in the partition of 1947 and subsequent ones. So before I begin, I have a few guidelines. The guidelines for the audience: please turn your cell phones into silent mode. If you have an urgent call to make, exit the room, and only after completing the call, please be back. When the question and answer session is on, please ask the questions in a concise and precise manner so that the person you're asking it to understands it. Please do not interrupt the speaker when he's speaking. Allow the courtesy for them to talk. And if you have social media, please tweet or retweet about this event on social media and Facebook as well. And it is the sole discretion of our moderators here today, Dr. Talukdar and Dr. Prakasrao. They will decide which questions deserve an answer. And your presence is appreciated. Please, let's avoid untoward incidences at all costs. And for the speakers, please be mindful of the time allotted to you. Answer questions only which you feel are relevant to the topic, and avoid answering follow-up questions. There'll be plenty of time later. With that, now I'd like to call upon our president, Dr. Rudranath Talukdar, to give the call to Moan and make his opening remarks. Dr. Talukdar.
Thank you very much, Shauriji. My name is Dr. Rudranath Talukdar, and I am the current president of Hindu MahaSabha of America. We observe this event to memorialize the countless hundreds of thousands, millions of lives lost in the various partitions of India, and the plural is deliberate. So please take a moment of silence. We'll be silent for 1 minute and pray for their souls. Thank you. To start off, I won't speak for very long. A few housekeeping points. Shauriji already talked about the cell phone. After the event, for anybody who wishes to stay and interact one-to-one with our distinguished panel, we will have tea and samosa at the cafeteria, temple cafeteria, and you can interact with them. For some of us who have been volunteers and are wishing to volunteer in the future, we have dinner plans at the end of that, and I will explain that in the cafeteria at a later time. And I do want to thank all our volunteers. HMSA does not have a tradition of naming all sorts of people and going through an entire list of 30 minutes, but I do want to thank Dr. Prakasrao ji very, very much for giving us this forum and podium and the opportunity, and without whom we would not have been able to pull this off. Thank you, sir. So it is a distinct pleasure to stand before you today, and I've been an activist for 20 odd years now, and I see finally the tide is turning. When I started doing this in Houston 10 years ago, we could maybe get 15, 20 people at best. And now I see so many, and we are almost going to have a standing crowd only. So this is amazing. For at the end of the day, truth and dharma will be victorious, because truth and dharma are always victorious. It is the reality. And we have to go where truth is leading us to. I'm certain many of you may wonder at my odd choice of attire, so I want to explain that to you. I'm wearing Texan today to emphasize my debt to the USA and to Texas for still maintaining freedom of speech as a fundament of its polity, in spite of attacks on it from multiple sides, especially from the leftist jihadist complex. They have been very successful in India, as you well know, and freedom of speech is extremely curtailed in India. The Indic Vedic civilizational ethos of free speech and free inquiry has its best expression currently in the US, not in India anymore. And it might lose it here if we don't work hard, and if we don't work hard, we will certainly lose what little we have in India. If we go back to our Indic roots, to our Vedic roots, then we will make India a great nation again. Vande Mataram.